We come across portraits and statues of rulers and leaders all over the world. It's easy to show the physical image, but difficult to represent an abstract concept such as a country physically. As the concept of nationalism took shape, the need to give the country a physical form was also felt. Hence, in the 18th and 19th century, artists personified the country or showed the country as a person. Nations came to be represented with a female figure. The female figure used was not related to anybody in real life, but it gave a concrete form to the abstract idea of a nation. Many countries began to use female allegories. During the French Revolution, artists used the female allegory Marianne to represent France as a people's nation. She characterized the tenets of the French Revolution. It had the red cap, the tricolor, and the cockade as symbols of liberty and republic. Statues of Marianne were erected in public places, and images were marked on coins and stamps. The purpose was to remind people to be united and identify with the nation. Similarly, Germania was the allegorical representation of Germany, wearing a crown of oak leaves which symbolizes heroism. However, with the passage of time, towards the last quarter of 19th century, nationalism lost the idealistic, liberal and democratic sentiment which had been an essential part of it. Nationalism started becoming limited to a small group of people who had some specific limited needs in mind. The nationalist groups became intolerant of each other and were always ready to fight. The people in power in Europe manipulated the nationalist sentiments of the countrymen to further their imperialistic ends. This led to a state of nationalist tension in Europe. Let's have a look at one such case. After 1871, the Balkan region became the most serious source of nationalistic tension. The Balkans comprised Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Slovenia, Serbia, and Montenegro. It had a variety of geographical features and ethnic differences, and a large part of it was under the Ottoman Empire. Once the Ottoman Empire began to disintegrate and ideas of romantic nationalism spread across it, the European subject nationalities began to break away and declared their independence. They identified their struggle as the means to regain their long-lost independence. Thus, Balkan region became an area of conflict as each region struggled to define its identity and independence. Jealousy and greed to gain more territory from each other were the main cause of strife among the newly formed nations. Matters were further compounded when the rivalry between the big European powers extended to the Balkan states. The intense rivalry among the big European powers over trade, colonies, naval and military power now included stopping the other powers from gaining more control than them over the Balkans. Russia, Germany, England, Austria and Hungary were keen on getting control over the area. This led to a series of wars in the region, eventually resulting in the First World War. In the 19th century, the countries colonized by European powers started opposing imperial domination. The nationalist movements struggled to form independent nation-states and had a sense of collective national unity. This struggle was also a fight against imperialism. Places which sought to become nation-states did not copy the nationalism followed in Europe, but instead, specific variety of nationalism was developed among different nations based on their needs. The outcome of these struggles was that the people and the idea of societies being organized into nation-states began to be accepted naturally and universally. Match the following. Select the correct option and click Submit. Now let's summarize what we have learned in this topic.